Hello and welcome back to another Dodgeball video. If you're new, thanks for tuning in. I'm super excited. I'm almost at 400 subscribers, which I never really thought this channel would grow too much. It was just a side project, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Thank you so much for the support. If you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe and drop comments for any new topics or whatever. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. It helps more people find these videos. Anyway, so for today's video, I'm talking 7 general tournament tips. So now that tournaments are starting to come back, a lot of players are going from not playing dodgeball at all to all of a sudden ramping up 0 to 60 really fast, and dodgeball tournaments can be pretty intense. They're either one day or usually more so than not they're a weekend. So you want to be able to survive the tournaments. You want to be able to play your best at these tournaments and avoid injuries, yada yada yada. So today I have some general tips to help you make it through that whole entire tournament, playing your best and putting you in the best situation you can possibly put yourself in to be successful. So let's jump right into it. So tip number 1, you want to fuel your body right. So you want to eat a really good meal the night before and a really good meal the morning of. Typically a high protein, high carb meal with lower fat. And again, if it's a 2-day tournament or a 3-day or whatever, how many of your days, you want to be doing that throughout each of those days. So the dinner before, the night, the second day, and the morning of the second day, like same idea. So typically if it's a home like in LA and I can drive to it, so I don't need to stay at a hotel or whatever, my go-to is always lentil pasta with tomato sauce and tofu meatballs. It's really high in carb and protein and low in fat, so it's great. It's filling. I usually pair that with like some asparagus or green beans, some sort of vegetable. And then if you eat meat, you could just do spaghetti meatballs if you wanted to do that. That was one that I used to do when I ate meat regularly. And then in the mornings I like to do overnight oats with a little scoop of peanut butter and some banana. It's perfect. And I always do a coffee, a double shot latte. I don't like to do pre-workout, but I don't put any sweetener or anything in that latte, so try and keep it just the double shot of espresso and some soy or oat milk. But if you're in an away tournament, which is typically the case, that gets a little bit trickier. It's just to be smart about where you go to eat, and if you stay in like an Airbnb or something with a kitchen, like use that to your advantage. Go to the grocery store, get stuff you can make. But if not, you just have to be smart about your choices based on what they have, like where you go to get your breakfast and dinner and all that. But overall, you want to try and remember high protein, high carb, low fat. So tip number 2 is also related to food. You want to snack smartly throughout the tournament as well. So with the way dodgeball tournaments are typically set up, like most of the time you're playing on and off. So you're like a 20-minute game, you get like a break, and then you got another 20-minute game. Sometimes you have back-to-back games. It's not like Worlds, you get hours in between the games. You don't typically get that a lot of local dodgeball tournaments just because they don't have the time or the gym space. They have to kind of go. So you don't really have time most of these tournaments to eat like a proper lunch. So you want to make sure you're fueling your body well throughout the day. So I always like to have some vegan jerky, or before I would have beef jerky. I always have some fruit with me, banana, apple, orange. Those really easy to bring and don't make a mess and last the day. Even some nuts for a little bit of fat, so some almonds or peanuts I like to munch on, or pistachios was another one that I liked, but you got to deal with the shells. But you just want to make sure you're properly snacking throughout the day. Like typically when I have a game off, I like to go and have a couple bites of something just to make sure that I'm fueling my body throughout the day as well. And again, like if you can bring it on the plane, I always like to bring stuff on the plane. But if you didn't, go to a convenience store and grab some snacks. Your body will really thank you for that. Sometimes these gyms have places nearby that you can Uber Eats, but no matter what you do, you just want to make sure you're snacking throughout the day to keep your energy up. And quickly, if you're interested in like food related videos on the channel, recipes or for like snacks that you can make to bring, or just meals that you can make before the tournament, it's something I've been thinking about doing. I love cooking, and I can make it omnivore friendly as well for those of you who don't want to cook vegan or vegetarian, but drop it in the comments if you're interested in that. Tip number 3 is to stay hydrated throughout the day. You'd think this would be an obvious one, but I see people all the time not drinking enough water, getting cramps or whatever. So you just want to make sure you're hydrating. Personally, I like to bring a gallon of water with me. I never know if the gym's going to have a hydration station or not, so I like to just make sure I have water. And then I always bring my water bottle to whatever court I'm playing on, whatever court I'm reffing on, so it's always there as a visual reminder, hey, I should probably drink a little bit of water. You don't need to be chugging it, you just want to sip it throughout the day. And then of course during your games, like as you need it when you get out, I see a lot of players don't actually bring their water to the court, and then they forget about it, they're not drinking, it's an afterthought. You want to make sure you're hydrating throughout the day. It'll really only benefit you. Number 4, again, it should be straightforward. You need to warm up well before the game. But you would be surprised how many people I see show up to the gym right before the games start, don't give them enough time to warm up, or I see the people that literally just throw as their warm up. They grab a ball, they throw at the wall for 5-10 minutes, and that's their warm up. You need to be warming up your entire body. Dodgeball is a full body sport. You're doing a lot of movement. You need to make sure every muscle's warmed up, because the last thing you want to do is pull something or get a cramp because you didn't warm up properly. So I highly recommend, in addition to doing some throwing as your warm up, to stretch your whole body. Take at least 10 minutes to do that. Tournaments are a long day. You don't want to skimp on that. I see a lot of people will bring resistance bands and do some stretches that way as well. Whatever you can do, whatever you have, foam roller, do some stretching before you start doing your throwing warm-up. And then the other thing is you need to stay warm in between games. So again, like I was saying before, you have a game that's 20 minutes and you're off for 20 minutes, and sometimes you're off for 2 games and you have an hour break. Well, then you especially need to warm up again. So when I have just back-to-back games, then I usually don't warm up, but if I had 20 to an hour off, I'll usually be stretching in between while I'm waiting on the break, and then when the game's about to start, I'll make sure to get a little bit of stretching and re-warm up my arm again. You don't want to not play for an hour, show up to the court, and just start playing. You're going to hurt yourself. You definitely want to make sure when you have long breaks, you're also warming up as well, in addition to warming up at the beginning of the day. So number 5, in addition to properly warming up, you want to keep your body warm throughout the day. So this will prevent muscle tightness. And so this is really only relevant in really cold gyms. Sometimes you get unlucky and you have a gym that doesn't have really good AC. But when you are in a really cold gym, especially in the colder months, it's important to stay warm in between your long breaks. So for me, even in the summer, I'll bring a long sleeve shirt. In the winter, I'll bring a sweater. I don't typically wear shorts at tournaments, but if you do, it might be good to bring some joggers, sweatpants. So in between the games in the cold gym, you can put the sweater on, put the long sleeve on, if you're feeling cold, because you want to keep your muscles warm. Now, if you're feeling really hot wearing the sweater, then obviously you should probably take it off, but you want to make sure you're comfortable. If you're feeling cold, definitely put it on, because the last thing you want is to freeze in the gym and then go play and be really stiff. So tip number 6, when you can, you want to reserve your energy and ease up. When it's clear you're going to win the game, this is more so for timed games, obviously best ofs, best of 7 or whatever. You need to play hard the whole time because you don't want to ease up and then lose. But for timed games, especially when you have a huge score advantage, 5-2 with 2 minutes left, you can probably start easing up at that point, because you want to reserve your energy, especially in round robin. You want to reserve your energy. Maybe some teams in playoffs, they don't want to take any chances, and that's fine. But round robin, if you clearly got the win, you want to ease up and save that energy. Even for one-day tournaments, the last thing you want is to go all out in round robin, and then playoffs comes around and you're already sore and aching, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to make it through playoffs, and you think back and you're like, oh, we had 2 or 3 matches where we clearly had the win and we could have eased up and we didn't. So you definitely want to take advantage of that when you can, just to reserve your energy for when the important games come around. And now if you're on a team that's up and coming, you guys are still figuring it out, and you're not sure how far you're going to make it, then yeah, you probably don't want to ease up. You probably want to go all out. You don't know how many playoff games you're going to get, and you want to play your best the whole time. But for the people on better teams and the ones that are prospected to do better, you definitely want to reserve your energy when you can. Now, maybe you won't have any opportunities to do that, and you'll have a lot of close games, you're right on the wire, then it is what it is. But when you can reserve your energy, definitely take advantage of it. It'll really pay off later on in the tournament. So tip number 7, mental toughness is key. Not only is it a long day or weekend, there's also going to be a lot of obstacles that come in your way, whether it's you're sore, or you think the refs made a bad call, or you think someone didn't take an out, or whatever. There's going to be things that get in your way mentally that can affect your game, and you need to stay mentally tough about it. And I especially see this with bad calls or missed calls or whatever. But you have to remember, you're only seeing it from one angle. I've seen plenty of times where someone swears somebody got hit. It hit their toe, but actually from the ref's angle, it clearly hit the ground and then hit their toe. It wasn't a trap, it wasn't an out, and you're so hyper focused on it that all of a sudden somebody from the other side hits you because you got that tunnel vision. So it's really important to stay positive, move past those, brush them off. You can only control what you can control, and you should remember that. If it's a bad call or a good call or whatever, and they're still on the court, get them out again, hit them again. If you think you hit them once, hit them a second time. Don't let it affect you in a negative way. A lot of times, not only does it affect you in a negative way, which affects your play, it also affects your team negatively because they feed off that energy. So it's really important to stay mentally tough throughout the day and only worry about what you can control. And if you lose and you think it was because of a bad call, well, there's nothing you can do about it now, and move on to the next game. Focus on the next thing that you can control, and you'll find that you'll have a better tournament experience, and you might even play better, and your team might even play better because you're not in that negative mindset. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comments with any other dodgeball topics you'd like me to cover. I have a really exciting video that I've been working on. It's just taking me a really long time to edit, but I want to get it right. It's something new for the channel, so I'm really excited for it to finally drop. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys at the next one.